All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking one of the absolutely most intense, mind-blowing character transformations in all of world literature. We're looking at a story that swings wildly from absolute tranquil devotion to literally earth-shattering cosmic rage. This isn't just some dusty, simple myth. It is a incredibly profound study of justice, of endurance, and really the breaking point of human empathy.
I mean, just think about this for a second. How exactly does a mortal woman burn an entire capital city to ashes using absolutely nothing but her righteous anger? It's an incredible image, right? And that striking question is sitting right at the very heart of the ancient Tamil epic Silappatikaram. So today, we're going to map the incredible journey of its heroine, Kannagi. We'll trace her path step by step and analyze the cultural, emotional, and political shifts that turn a quiet merchant's daughter into a literal goddess of fire. Act 1. The Epitome of Grace. We're kicking off our story in the incredibly wealthy coastal capital of Pumpuhar, bathed in the innocent grace of Kannagi's early life. Now, to really grasp the sheer scale of her transformation later on, we first have to understand exactly who she was. Kannagi was the daughter of the massively successful sea merchant Manayai Khan. She was widely renowned for her noble lineage and, crucially, her deeply stoic patience. Married to Kovalan, who was the son of another huge merchant named Masathwan, her life essentially began as a picture of absolute, blissful perfection. They were basically the ultimate power couple of Pumpahar. But then everything just abruptly shifts. At the Uyarndhor festival, Kovalan becomes completely captivated by this brilliant dancer, Madhavi. He ends up leaving Kannagi. And over the ensuing months, he loses literally all of his vast wealth to this entirely new life. But take a look at the final point on this timeline because it's so important. Through years of waiting, Kannagi just lives a simple, ascetic life. She never blames him. She never speaks ill of him. It really highlights her incredibly steadfast, stoic endurance while he was away. Eventually, Kovalan does return, but he's totally impoverished and deeply, deeply repentant. And right here is where we see the immense depth of Kannagi's character. She instantly forgives him. There's no anger, there's no resentment. In what is just a breathtaking display of profound empathy, she makes the ultimate sacrifice. She hands over her only remaining wealth, her exquisite gemstone anklets, known as salambu, just to help him rebuild their shattered life. This single act of grace is what sets the entire rest of the epic in motion. Act 2. Journey into Shadows. Guided by the Jain monk Kavunfi Adigal, they now travel toward Madurai, stepping away from the light and moving directly into darkness. Okay, so now we hit the crucial, fatal turning point in the plot. Kovalan takes Kannagi's precious personal anklet to the market in Madurai, hoping to sell it and raise him capital to start over. But what he is completely unaware of is that Queen Kaparundevi's royal anklet has literally just been stolen. Talk about terrible timing, right? These two nearly identical anklets are about to cross paths with absolutely devastating consequences. Enter the true thief, a deceitful royal goldsmith. To cover up his own crime, the goldsmith spots Kovalan walking around with Kannagi's anklet and immediately frames him for the royal theft. This one self-serving lie prompts a massive, catastrophic failure of royal justice. The Pandyan king Nadunjalian makes a fatal error. He skips any kind of thorough investigation and just orders Kovalan's execution right there on the spot. No trial, nothing. An innocent man is killed in the streets. Act 3. The Cosmic Fury. And guys, this is where the stoic persona completely shatters and the story takes a terrifying turn. When Kannagi hears that her husband has been murdered, she transforms instantly. The innocent, patient woman is gone, replaced by an unyielding force of raw justice. "I demand justice!" she screams. Imagine the scene, a grieving widow, a total outsider, kicking open the doors of the mighty Pandyan court. She's standing there with her one remaining anklet in hand, directly challenging the absolute most powerful man in the kingdom. And that brings us to the ultimate climactic reveal. The king, trying to defend his hasty execution, confidently claims that the stolen royal anklet was filled with pearls. Kannagi doesn't even miss a beat. She dramatically shatters her anklet right there on the hard court floor. And what spills out? Not pearls. A shower of brilliant red rubies, manikam, scatters everywhere. In that one brilliant shattering moment, she provides the absolute, undeniable proof that Kovalan was completely innocent. The king's reaction is just visceral. He stares at these rubies, and the sheer magnitude of his political failure just washes over him. Realizing he has innocent blood on his hands, the devastated king utters these famous words, Yano arasan, Yane kalvan, I am no king, I am the thief. The shock of his own failed dharma, his failure to uphold justice, is so profound that he literally collapses dead right there on the throne, and his queen immediately follows.
But you see, the death of the king isn't even close to enough to balance the scales of her righteous grief. In an act of profound, mythical agony, Kannagi tears off her left breast and hurls it at the city. She curses the great city of Madurai, commanding the fire of her chastity and her grief to completely consume the capital that allowed such a horrific failure of justice. Now, what is truly fascinating here is the specific nature of her curse. Yes, the city is engulfed in a terrifying inferno, but even in the absolute peak of her cosmic rage, her power remains inherently moral. It's precise. The flames only destroy the corrupt and the wicked. Brahmins, ascetics, innocent cows, women, and children are miraculously spared. Her anger acts as a targeted weapon of divine justice, essentially burning out only the rot within the system. Act 4, Divine Apotheosis. The flames finally subside, and her earthly journey of grief comes to an end.
Leaving the smoldering ashes behind, she walks west into the Chera kingdom, reaching the quiet hills of Nedival Kundrum. And as she stands under the shade of a Vingai tree, her epic tragedy culminates in ultimate redemption. The heavens open up, and Kovalan descends in a celestial chariot, a Pushpaka Vimana, to carry her up. She's no longer just a mortal widow. She ascends to become Patini Devam, the deeply revered goddess of chastity. Her incredible transition from mortal to deity is cemented in the physical world by the Chera king Sengutuan. When he hears her story, he realizes the sheer scale of her virtue, so he literally mounts an expedition all the way to the Himalayas just to bring back a sacred stone. He bathes it in the holy Ganges River and constructs the legendary Patini Temple. He makes absolutely sure that her sacrifice and her terrifying demand for justice are never forgotten. Through this explainer, we really see the author Ilongo Adigal's central philosophies brought vividly to life. He's showing us two inescapable truths. First, that Dharma, absolute justice, will inevitably act as the god of death to an unjust ruler. And second, that true virtue and stoic endurance will forever command eternal reverence from the wise. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. Kannagi isn't just some ancient myth. Look at what she actually represents. What does her fiery ascension teach us today about the sheer power of a single, marginalized voice demanding absolute accountability from the very highest authority? Her story is a timeless reminder that true justice cannot be ignored, and that bravely speaking truth to power is an immortal act.